Hey everybody, welcome. Hey, first off, can we give it up for Anna for putting on this event and working her tail off to bring everybody together and deliver these capabilities? Let's throw it in the chat. Everybody give it up for Anna and all of you who are part of Total Moms. Give it up for yourself. There's a million things you could be doing today, but you're here gaining capabilities to start that business, to finally get it out of your head. Stop procrastinating. Stop maybe finding the creative way to not be so overwhelmed and unleash the creativity that's been dying to come out, or COVID made you realize you don't want to work for somebody else. There's a million reasons you could be here, but here's what I know in my life. Whenever I want to go from where I am to where I want to go, it's all about gaining the capabilities from someone who's already been there. To learn, even sometimes it's just a millimeter of a shift and go, oh, that's how you do it. Whether it's marketing or sales or innovation or creativity or finally saying, I'm doing this. We always get what we need when we put ourselves out there to learn from people who've already been there. So for that, we are kindred spirits. And I want to say congratulations for being here right now, because I don't think there could be a better time in history to start your own thing or scale your own thing or to stop dabbling. The outside world's a little out of control. I think we could be honest there. Hey, for the first time, if this is the first time you're meeting me, I'm Dean GRAZIOSI. I'll tell you a little bit about more about me here in a moment. But just know I've got a great deal of experience starting my own businesses, being really scared. I didn't start without money. I didn't start with money. I started scared. But I learned some fundamentals over the way. And in fact, today, I want to share with you one of the greatest exercises I've ever done in my life. And I truly believe it is the foundation for my success in business. And I want you to have this. I want you to have it as a gift, because it's something that I do at least 4 times a year. I've been doing it for probably, I say a decade, probably 17 years. And I believe when I give it to you today, it'll be something you do for the rest of your life. And I hope it sparks you to go from wherever you are to that next level, to make this real in your life. But before I get to that, before I tell you a little bit about my history, and that's going to be short because this is about you today, I just want you to think about where we are in the world, right? Things are really changing. I mean, COVID shifted a lot, didn't it? But think about where we've been in the last 6 weeks, the last 10 weeks. Inflation skyrocketing, interest rates going up. They say we're heading towards a recession. People way smarter than me say it's inevitable that we go into a recession. Think of the dinner table conversations. Were you talking about gas prices 6 months ago? People are talking about gas. They're talking about prices. They're talking about things changing. I'm already seeing bigger companies start preparing for the layoffs that they're going to need to do in this shifting world. Things are changing. And when things change like that, I just want to tell you, intuition, especially as a busy mom, trying to juggle it all, be a great mom, be a leader, be the glue to keep your family together. Believe me, I get it. And simultaneously want to start or scale your own business. Like, how do I juggle all these balls? I think we can get clarity on that today. But I just want you to know, when you have all that and the outside world is crazy, sometimes that can make you want to sit on your hands. It can make you think, let me just see where things go. Let me see, is it the last president messed up, or is it the current president, or the next president, or will one of those save me? And here's what I know that's so liberating. When we just decide, no one's coming to save us. It's on us. And we all have another, I should say, next level leader that lives inside of us, right? And a leader doesn't mean you control other people. It means you bring out the best version of yourself. You take the uncomfortable action. You should write that down right now. Uncomfortable action. We take the uncomfortable action needed to drive us through those things we're a little afraid of, to drive us through the procrastination, to drive us through being scared, to drive us through imposter syndrome, right? We all have these feelings, but what can drive us through? That's some of the training I want to share with you today, because we need to step up right now more than ever. Can't you agree? Or don't you agree? This is the time. This is not a time to play small. Like the book, Who Moved My Cheese, right? If you kind of narrow it down, there's 2 mice, there's cheese coming every day. They're cool. Cheese stops coming. One mouse is like, I deserve my cheese. I'm going to wait right here till they bring it back. And the other one's like, I don't think it's coming back. I'm going to go look. You're crazy. You know, at the end of the story, one starves, one finds a new way. When one door closes, another one opens. But you got to look through those other doors. right? So today, this is a little nudge. And for me today, and working with Anna and being a part of Total Moms, this is a nudge to gain capabilities, but then take the uncomfortable action needed, be disturbed with inaction, and go, no, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to stop thinking about it. I'm going to go for it. And that's what I hope to do today and hope to share with you today is when we're done, if 90% of what I share doesn't resonate, but one thing makes you go, oh, I'm all in. I'm doing this. Then I did my job, and I'm glad I'm here with you guys today. First, a little bit about my story. Just for those of you, if we're meeting for the first time, those of you that know me, it's good to see you again. We all have journeys. We all have our past. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You have yours, your relationship with your parents, previous relationships, good, bad, or otherwise, insecurities, imposter syndrome, great times, tough times, challenging times, people letting you down, people empowering you, all of those things. We all have that journey. As my dear friend Tony Robbins says, life happens for us, not to us, if we look through the right lens. Because all those stories could be our anchor, but they could be the wind behind our sail. But for me, my parents were married a lot, but better at being divorced. They were married and divorced 9 times in my lifetime. By the time I was 20, I moved about 20 times. Always shifting, changing, lots of different things in my life. But I was disturbed at a young age of watching my mom struggle so much. And watching her struggle so much made me we all have our muse. She was my muse. She worked 3 jobs to make next to nothing. And I worked really hard to change my life and knew that I wanted to retire her and lots of other things. I'm only telling you this story because we all have that thing we're either running away from. You're only here for 1 or 2 reasons today. You want to run away from something that's not perfect, a job or no job or overwhelm or stop. You want to run away from procrastination, or things are okay, but you know there's another level and you want to run towards something bigger or better. True? 100% of you are either moving away from something not so good or you want to move towards something better. When you look at it through that lens, and eventually if you move away from something painful, you want to move to something better. So that's why we're all here, right? Well, I felt that, and I started I started cutting firewood in high school, and I started fixing wrecked cars right out of high school, and I ended up fixing wrecked cars and then got a collision shop and then would sell some of the cars. Then I got a tow truck companies. Then I started buying rundown houses and renovating them. By the time I was 25, 27, I got some real good momentum in my life. I already started supplementing and helping my mother and my grandmother, and life was going in a good direction. But then something fundamentally shifted. And that's why I want to congratulate you for being here today. I did something I had never done before. About 27-ish, probably 27 years old, I bought Tony Robbins' course off a late night infomercial. And my family told me I was nuts, and my friends told me I was crazy. But that I paid for information. I paid for knowledge. I paid for someone else's experience. And it shifted my life. Yeah, I already had started to have some success, but I wasn't doing it in a healthy way. I wasn't. I was stressed and sick and like I was just running away in a painful way. And man, Tony fundamentally shifted some of my thoughts. Life happens for me, not to me. I could focus on solutions. My past doesn't have to be my anchor. My past could be the fuel. All these things, and they started fundamentally shifting my life. But 2 really important things happened to me, and I think it's important to share that with you today. It's why I'm here in front of you right this very minute. Is it did 2 things. 1, gave me all those tools to start looking through a more positive light. But second, it made me realize, wow, if you cut a check to someone who's already been there, look how much faster you could go. And I wanted to be that guy. So I started entering this self-education industry, the knowledge industry, the information industry, whatever you want to call it. You're a part of it. You're here today. I started creating courses and writing books and doing workshops, and I was so freaking excited. But I think you can appreciate this. Back then, to get in this industry wasn't like today. We're doing this online, which is amazing. This was in the 90s. There was no internet, right? So I had to build an infomercial, and I had to buy product, and I had to put it in a warehouse, and I had to store it. I was in like a couple $100,000, most of it put on my credit cards. I was scared to death, but I was moving forward. You know when you're excited about something, you're like, I'm doing it anyway. I don't care what anybody says. But then I started questioning myself because my sister, who I love dearly, Maybe you have someone in your life that loves you and thinks they're protecting you, but also scares the hell out of you. She drove from Virginia to upstate New York where I lived and told me, you're crazy. You accomplished so much from where you came from, but this is crazy. You're going to lose everything. And then my father had the same messages. My friends were just way more kind. They were just like, you're an idiot, right? And you start having that self-doubt that leads to imposter syndrome. That wasn't the word back then. You're just scared. And I remember taking a walk. And maybe you could put yourself in these shoes in a certain situation in your life. And I started going, oh my God, what the hell am I thinking? I'm not Tony Robbins. I'm not 6'7". I don't have lots of money. I don't have connections. God, I was a broke kid. I lived in a trailer park as a kid. I fixed cars. I drove a tow truck at night. And now I'm going to teach people how to do what I've done. And I started going down this road. I started spiraling out of control. Again, maybe you've been there. And then what does that do? It makes you sit, do nothing, and wait. And a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years goes by just like that. But I was lucky enough. And I say lucky, blessed, grateful. I'm grateful to God for downloading whatever it was. I remember walking, and then I started thinking, no, that's other people's dreams. My dear friend Lisa Nichols said once, and my other friend Trent Shelton said, you know, sometimes you got to realize that God, the universe, whoever you think your maker is, gave us this dream, gave us this desire. They didn't give it to our friends and family. So how can they look through a lens and appreciate us? They're going to think we're crazy because God didn't give it to them. They gave it to us. Our maker gave it to us. So as I'm walking, I started thinking, no, I'm not an expert in everything, and I'm not a multimillionaire and make $1 million a month at this time. But I've had some really good success in this little area of my life, and I'm really good at what I do. And I started thinking, I don't want to teach the world. I don't want to teach 7 billion people. I just want to teach people in this small little niche. And my confidence started to grow. And I said, I'm already in financially. I'm putting both feet in. I'm not dabbling. I'm burning the boats. You want to take the island? Burn the boats. That's a cool picture of an island behind you. You want to take the island? You got to go all in. Nothing in your life has ever worked if you dabble. So I stopped dabbling. I remember by the time I was done with that work, I'm like, I'm doing this, and maybe I wanted to prove everybody wrong. But all I know, I was all in. I was completely committed. I was going down in flames if I was going down. And I want to tell you, that day, and maybe you could put yourself in that shoes, that day, man, I was at a crossroads. I could have done what everybody else said. I could have listened to self-doubt. I could have listened to that imposter syndrome. Or I could be brave and bold and say, no, I'm meant for more. I could be more. I can do more. I could serve more. And I made the scary choice. And the scary choice is why I'm here today. And I feel blessed that now Tony Robbins is my partner, and we own multiple companies together. I'm a multiple New York Times best-selling author. I've spoken in front of 250,000 people at once, and we've done some of the biggest launches online. Tony and I have a company that's fueling people all around the world how to be in the self-education industry. We own mastermind.com and so many other things that are growing. And I get to be the dad I always dreamed to be. I get to be the husband to my wife I wanted to be. The only reason I'm sharing that today because I just know what it feels like with that self-doubt, imposter syndrome, scared, fearful. How am I going to juggle? Look at all the stuff I'm doing. But I want to tell you something. It's worth it. It's beyond worth it. So with that, and knowing a little bit about my story, and Scott, we're going to go over here with the whiteboard in a minute. I want to go through an exercise that has fundamentally shifted my life. I said this earlier, but I want you to go through this, and I really want to hit on some key points today. Because if you think about life, it's all about getting from where we are to where we want to be. And there's a gap. And that could be your business plan. That could be innovation, that could be marketing, that could be sales, that could be mindset. We all have gaps, and we have to fill those gaps with capabilities to get from where we are to where we want to be. But I want you guys to visualize this. I want you to feel it through this exercise, like I said, that I've been doing, I said, probably on its way to 20 years. So Scott, come on over. When we talk about let's start with a business plan, right? If you have the same business plan today you had a year ago, it's already outdated. The world has changed completely, right? We do have high inflation, and we have a recession seemingly on its way. We have gas prices out of control. There's lots of changes in the world right now that weren't here just a few months ago. And it does fundamentally mean we have to alter, shift, no matter what it is you're teaching, no matter what business you're going into, it's different. Do businesses thrive in a down economy? Absolutely. The ones that are prepared, the ones that have coaches, the ones that are learning from people already been there, yes. But you got to be prepared. So I want you to look through this lens of, let's say your business plan. But this is the gap. This is what we're going to talk about today. Where you were. Now, we all started someplace, and today, this is where you are. This is where you were, this is where you are. So think about this life journey. And we hope a life journey is pleasant, and I'm a little better today than I was yesterday, and nothing was too bad, nothing was too great, I'm just growing. No, that's not the way it works, right? This is a straight line, but it's more like, I got this, oh my God, I'm losing everything. No, I'm gonna create my own business. Oh my God, things change. Oh my God, I met the love of my life, it's going really great. We're gonna get married, gonna have kids. Oh my God, I think we're getting a divorce. All these things, but you were here and now you're here, okay? But I'm guessing there's another place that you wanna go. So I wanna go through this exercise. And I'm going to encourage you to really live this experience that I'm going to share with you right now. It is the foundation. When people say, how can I launch my business? How can I stop procrastinating? How do I go to the next level? Where do I start? How do I find the time? This is my go-to. You don't need a time management tool. You need this. You don't need a magical money machine. You don't need a magic wand. You need this. So let's start with where are you? And let me ask you something. Where are you right now? I don't mean location. I mean, where are you in here? You see, all change starts with being honest with yourself. Purely honest. So many people say, how are you doing? I'm blessed. I'm grateful. You should be. We're here. Google it. 150,000 people die every day. You didn't. You're here. We are blessed. We should be grateful. But you also know there's another level. And you also know if you play small, you don't want to be at the end of your life feeling like you left some on the table. You don't want to be at the end of your life saying, I had more. You don't want to be at the end of your life and your maker play a video of you or play a video of the woman you could be. That's not what we want. We want to leave it out on the table, squeeze all the juice out of life it has to offer, reach our full potential, share more, be more, serve more, make more, have more for us, right? So I'm sharing that because I really want you to be honest. Where are you today? Put it in the chat. Where are you now? What are you feeling? Why are you here? Why are you a part of this event? All change starts with being honest. Are you feeling left behind? Or you feel like you have more to give the world? You want to do your own thing. You don't want to being a mom. Can't even imagine how moms do it. But you want to be an amazing mom and maybe a great partner. But you also want to do your own thing. You've got that desire, that itch. I watch my wife. I understand this balance. So I'm going to ask you right now, take the time. Do this again. Take the notes. Do it another time when you have more time. Where are you right now with complete honesty? All change starts with being honest. So if you know where you are, that's like GPS. You know your starting point, right? You can't have a destination until you know where you're beginning, right? Your phone can't give you instructions or directions on how to get there unless you have a starting point. But then the next question is really important. Where is it that you want to go? I have to be honest. Most people don't know this question. They think they know, but they don't. Where do you want to go? If you and I we were doing this event in person and we got in the elevator together, I said, hi, nice to meet you. And I said, all right, real quick, where is it that you want to go? I know this because, I'll frame it better for you so you understand it. I did an event in Las Vegas for 5 years in a row, every month for like 5 years. It was crazy. I was there all the time. And I used to put people on stage, and I'd put them in one chair, and I'd say, tell me everything you don't want out of life. Like, I don't want to be stressed anymore. I don't want to worry about the bills. I don't want to have to go to this job that I hate. I don't want to stress anymore. I don't want to worry anymore. I don't. And I'd get them up out of the chair, and I'd bring them over to another chair, and I'd say, okay, now tell me what you do want. Where do you want to go in life? And you know what the number one answer was? Wow, that's really good. Let me think about it. Or they would say, oh, okay, where do I want to go? I don't want my job anymore. Our brains are programmed to focus on what we don't want, and when we do, we actually run right into it. So I want to share two little secrets here. on where you want to go. You need a compelling future. You need to write down where it is you want to go. And you need to sell yourself on it every single day. But I'm going to give you a little hack on how to get there. You see, I'm going to give you a story. A dear friend of mine, Ethan Willis, he's got 8 children. Yeah, crazy. I have 3 with a 4th one on the way. I don't know how he does 8, but he's an amazing man. And with his church, him and a bunch of dads take the 15 to 17-year-old boys from the church. They're going to take them whitewater rafting in Colorado. And he said they get there and it rained for like 3 nights. Now, I don't understand rapids, but I guess it's like 1 through 5. And they were 5s. The rapids were like this high. And he said, all the dads are nervous, like, we're not doing this, right? But he said this salt and pepper hair guide comes out who's going to be on the raft with the kids, says, dads, don't worry. Boys, in a minute, you're going to get on the boat. We're going to have a great day. But let me tell you why you're going to be safe, everyone, because of the positive point. He said, see this finger? It's going to save us all today from going in the water and flipping over. He said they were all looking around. What's a positive point? He said, when I first started, I was a little naive. He said, we'd all be in the boat, and I'd see a tree that fell in the water that could flip us over, and I'd be like, hey, everybody, don't hit that tree. And he said, everybody in the raft would look at the tree, and we'd run right into it and flip over. Or there'd be a big rapid and a big rock, and I'd be like, everybody, don't hit the rock, and we'll be okay. We'd hit the rock and flip over. He's like, took me a little while. I'm a slow learner. But what I realized is, now the positive point, when I point and go, hey, guys, there might be a rock over there. No one, don't even mention it. But see that clearing over there, boys? Everybody paddle your guts out to that clearing and we'll be fine. He goes, wherever I point, if you put your energy towards the positive point, we will be fine through this entire thing. And they were. But isn't that life? When the outside world goes crazy and there's a pandemic and politicians are separating us as far as they possibly can and you feel crazy, you watch the news and it's horrific. Like, oh my God, what if this goes into a worse recession? What if it goes into a depression? What if my husband doesn't believe in me? What if my family thinks I'm nuts? What if it fails? What if I look stupid on social media? What if no one follows me, watches my book, and we're pointing at all these rocks and we're running into them over and over and we don't understand why? We need to describe our compelling future and use the positive point and point at it and sell ourselves every day on the clearing on where we want to go. Sounds simple, but life drags you back in. So I'm encouraging you to do this every single day. And let me tell you the little hack. The little hack is sometimes looking forward is a little difficult. Sometimes looking forward is a little difficult. It's hard sometimes to set our goals. So instead, let's hack the system. Let's pretend it's a year from right now. And we're together again. And we're celebrating the best year of your life. What had to happen to make it the best year of your life? Not what you're going to do. What had to happen? Is there a certain amount of freedom that you want? Is there a certain amount of impact? Is there a certain amount of income? A certain amount of choices, right? What does the best year of your life look like? It's not mine, it's yours. So I would say when time allows, go really deep and say, it's the best year of my life. I look in the mirror, how do I feel? How do I look? When you walk in a room, is everybody like, damn, she looks good. What is happening? Right? And when you start deciding where you want to go, then you stop staring at the big rapids, the rock, and the tree, and you start finding where it is that you want to be to shift your life. Now, if you know where you are with complete honesty, and we know where you want to go by crafting your compelling future, I'll tell you the next piece. That's probably the most important. And the next piece is why? Why do you want it? Why do you want to go from here to where you want to be? You wouldn't be in this room if you didn't want another level of income, impact, freedom, choices, right? But why do you want it? You see, nothing changes unless you attach an emotion. When you want more time, you need to attach an emotion. When you want more drive, you need to attach an emotion. You want more courage, you need to attach an emotion. So why are you here? Why do you want to go there? See, I hired a consultant more than 10 years ago, 15 years ago, changed my life. I hired him to help me get more results for my students. And I paid him $10,000 as a consultant. We ended up bartering and I did a deal for him, but originally it was going to be $10,000. And when I first got there, he said, and I had my team sitting around, he said, so what do you know, what's the main goal? I said, more results for my students. He said, did you ever do the 7 levels deep? I'm like, don't even know what that is, but if it'll help my students, I want it. I'll take it. Give it to me. And he's like, no, I need you to do it. I'm like, all right, whatever it is, I'll do it. So here's the whole theory. I won't go through the whole thing with you, but it was basically this. He said, why would you pay me $10,000 to be here today? And I remember I gave an answer out of my head. It was like, hey, I want more of my students to get the results they want, not to get in their own way. He's like, wow, very good. Great answer. But let me ask you, why do you want more results for your students? Hence the 7 levels deep. He asked me the why of the previous answer 7 times. I didn't understand it. I was like, well, I want people in this industry to step up or step aside. Out of my head, yeah, I got that answer. Nailed that one. It's like, okay, great, Dean. So you want more results. You want people in this industry to step up. Why do you want people in this industry to step up? I don't know. I think I said something like, I want to leave a legacy. He's like, okay, great. Why do you want to leave? I don't even know what I said the next couple of times because it was in my head. But I remember the moment it went into my heart. When he got to the 5th question, he asked me the previous one, and I said something I had never said before. I said, I don't want to go backwards. And in that moment, I started getting a little emotional. I remember watching my mom work so hard to have the crappiest car. And we took horrible vacations and stayed at Motel 6 and, just wearing hand-me-downs and sometimes not having lunch money when I went to school. I don't want to go backwards. Man, I started getting in my heart, started getting emotional. I'm like, man, I got my gig. I know why. I know why. He's like, well, Dean, that was only the 5th question. Can I ask you again? Why do you never want to go backwards? And I said something I had never said before in my life again. I said, I want my kids to have choices. Oof. If you're a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Waterworks. I'm feeling emotional. I'm not saying raise more entitled children. The world does not need more entitled children. But I wanted them to have choices, and I started feeling like I didn't have choices as a kid. Right? I didn't have choices. It's like, wow, I got it. He's like, not yet. That was only 6. It's 7 levels deep. Why do you want your kids to have choices? And out of my mouth came something that to this day I think of every time I'm having a tough day. I said, I want choices. I want to be in control of my life. Control of my life. Now, it might sound like a control freak. That's not the case. What I realized in that moment, and I was beyond emotional, I had tears running down my face, is my parents were married 9 times. I did move 20 times, but it goes deeper than that. I had step-grandparents that I love, Leo and Martha Rizzo. I love them. They used to take me hunting and fishing, and they were family, newfound grandparents, newfound stepbrothers and sisters. Then it was gone. Then someplace else, a new dad, new mom, new schools, new change. Always not in my control. Other people were making decisions in my life and I didn't like it. And that fundamentally is my why. I don't want anybody telling me what to do, how to dress, where to live, how to raise my children. And that leads to what success means to. But in my why, listen, right now in my life, I have a 15, a 13-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a baby on the way. My 15 and 13-year-old, I have them every other week. Not an advocate of divorce, but I went through one. I'm now married to the love of my life. And my previous wife, she's in an amazing space. We're dear friends. We co-parent. Great. But when my kids are with me, every morning, I make them breakfast. Every morning, I make them their lunches. Every morning, I take them to 2 separate schools. Every day they're with me at 3 o'clock, I pick both my kids up. Every baseball practice my son has, I drive him to. Every softball practice my daughter has, I drive them to. There is nobody going to tell me I can't do that. Do you know the value of a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old when they're in your car and you got no phone on and it's an hour ride each way to practice and you get to talk and hear about the boy they like or the girl that they think is cute and what happened with a teacher and what happened with a friend? I am so blessed to have the greatest relationship with my teenagers. We're going through the teenage years in such a solid way. Because I get to be in control of my time because it is a 10 out of 10 for me. It is not a 9 out of 10. And there's nobody going to tell me, oh, sorry, you got to be here early. Can't take your kids to school. Sorry, you can't go to that baseball game. Sorry, you can't drive the practice. No, I will chew through a brick wall. I will fight to the death of me. It is as important as my life to have that freedom, to have that control, to be the father I want to be. And also be the husband I want to be to this amazing woman. I had to become a better man to attract the kind of wife I have. I know that. It wasn't like just let me find the perfect woman. It's like, no, I had to become a better man, better than I was the first time. And because of that, I wanted the control of my time to be that better man, to have my wife fall more in love with me, to fall more in love with her, to have our date nights, to do the things that keep us connected, to be a better leader, to be a better speaker. I know what's important to me, and I would die for them. So when you're having a tough day, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you feel like nobody's actually listening to you, or you don't know if you should start your own thing, if you just say, hey, I'd like to make more money, that's not enough. You say, I want to leave a legacy. Not enough. I want to prove to my friends I could do this. Not enough. You got to ask yourself, why? Get into your heart. Get to where tears are coming out. When you start feeling tears, when the hair stands up on your arms, if you have any hair on your arms, when the hair stands up on your arms and you feel that way, or you're feeling disturbed or butterflies, you're getting into your heart. You're getting in the essence of why. Because going from where you are to where you want to be isn't an easy journey. There's going to be things that go sideways. People are going to question you. You're going to be let down. You will fail. If you just have one little reason why, it's not enough. When I'm having a tough day, if I say I am never going backwards, my kids will have choices, and I'm going to be in control of my time, oh, watch out. Watch out, because you're not stopping me. You're not going to stop me. Okay. So if we know where you are, with honesty, we know where you want to go, we need to put our heart here and know why we want it. And the last part is how. How are we going to get from where you are to where you want to be? How? I'm sure through this event, through listening to me today, you might be thinking, how am I going to do it? How? You think of Kaizen, right? It means you need to gain capabilities along the way to know where to start the business, how to keep in the right mindset, how to scale, how to market, how to do other things. We'll talk about some of those today. We still have some time here together. But you're going to need new capabilities to get from where you are to where you want to be. Think about it. If your relationship is okay and you lost intimacy, and you want to go to a place where your relationship is on fire with passion and connection, you have a gap. You have to bridge the gap. You need to know where you are in your relationship, where you want to go in your relationship. Why do you want your relationship better? How? How? If your business is floundering or you didn't start, you want it to be thriving, to give you all these pieces, you know why you want the business. How? What pieces do you need? But I'm going to give you a little secret that took me some time to learn. How can be replaced with a much better word. Who? Who can help me? Who has already been here? Who's already started the business? Who's already scaled the business? Who's already gone to another level? Who's already fixed the relationship, has a great relationship, who's already in good shape, who's living life at the fullest potential? Learning from those who've already been there is the who. So when you replace how with who, all of a sudden you start realizing, wow, I could do this. I could make this real. You just got to learn from the right people. You bridge the gap with the who, and that's what brings me, let's come back over here, Scott. It bridges the gap for me if you think about your business plan, right? We're in a new environment. The world has shifted. Who has been in business? Who's already succeeding? Who can help you craft that new plan to overcome obstacles, to fight through a recession, to have the right mindset, to make it real? And how do you surround yourself with that so you can have the answers and not try to figure it out on your own? Some of the hardest things we do in life is we feel we got to learn it through our own trial and error. Our own trial and error is the most costly learning on the planet. Number two, I want to talk about innovation and the ability to adapt quickly. I really want you to think about that. Innovation and your ability to adapt quickly. There's a saying that Tony says, if you're in your head, you're dead. And with the outside world so crazy, if you allow yourself to be the thermometer of life, meaning all the outside world affects you, you go up and down, rather than the thermostat where you control the knob of how you feel, no matter what's happening out there, no matter how crazy it is, if we become the thermostat, or the thermometer rather than the thermostat, then we're in our head. And if you're in your head, you're dead. You're not innovative. You're not creative. You're thinking of playing goalie and how to protect yourself, and you can't move forward. You can't win a game just playing goalie. You know, the famous hockey player, Wayne Gretzky, he was once asked why he was so good at hockey. And he said, some people skate to where the puck was. Some people that are pretty good skate to where the puck is, right? He said, I learned how to skate to where the puck is going. Ooh, think about that. If you're connected, if you're a part of something bigger than yourself, if you don't get in your head, if you find places to be innovative, if you find people who help you stay creative, if you stay plugged into a group where your creativity could flow through, then you have the opportunity to innovate, create, and see where the world is going. You know, I said this earlier about who moved my cheese, but also talking about when one door closes, another opens, right? When you say that, it sounds so elegant. Oh, the door's locked. It's closed. Let me go find a new one, right? But is it really like that? It's like, oh my God, this door is locked. Let me in. But do you really want what's behind that old door? Isn't that the old you? Aren't you looking for a new you? We have to find a way to figure out where the world is going, where the industry we're going to scale or launch in is going. Who can provide us that information? How can I see around corners? How can I see into the future? How can I open this new door with confidence and courage? You know, confidence doesn't come on its own. Confidence comes after you're courageous. And courage doesn't happen when your fear goes away. Courage is moving forward when you're scared to death anyway. So who can help you stay more courageous? Who can get you in an innovative state so you could see around corners? You know, there's a great story that a dear friend of mine told me about two restaurants in Salt Lake City, Utah. And it was a time when COVID first happened. Now, if you remember back when COVID first happened, they shut down everything, right? They shut down restaurants. Two restaurants about 6 miles apart. One they shut down, and man, was the guy mad. He was blaming the president. He was blaming China. He was blaming his PPP money didn't come. Just, I could picture him with his arms crossed like, son of a gun, I've done all this work, and now I'm going to lose everything. I can't believe it. He was living in fear. He was living in yesterday. He was focusing on the rock or the down tree, right, as we talked about earlier. He was focusing on what was wrong and how it's going to ruin him. About 6 miles away, two brothers owned a barbecue restaurant. And when that happened, they got in an innovative space. They got creative. They went to Lowe's or Home Depot. They got a bunch of lumber and they built this outside facility for a drive-through. They went inside and moved all the cooking stuff about 6 feet apart. And within a week, they were open again. And my buddy said, you drive by the one restaurant, shut down. Drive by this restaurant, there's a line of cars a quarter of a mile down the road getting drive-through. What's the difference? I really want you to hear this. What's the difference of the two? The difference of the two is one lived in what's wrong. One was stuck in his head, was dead, blaming others, not focusing on solutions, while the other got innovative, got creative, saw where the puck was going, opened a new door. A lot of times we can't get there on our own. We got to be connected to other people. We got to stay surrounded by other people who innovate and create and keep us excited, right? I could picture 5 years from now when if you interview the two owners of the restaurant, you interview the one guy and he's like, son of a bitch, I had a restaurant, COVID destroyed me, we went out of business. God, it was a shame. And you'd have empathy and compassion. You talk to the other brothers like, oh, what happened with you with COVID? Like, oh my God, COVID. We were able to shift and pivot. Now we have 35 drive-through barbecue restaurants all around the country, and we're thriving. What was the difference between the two? There was still COVID, there were still shutdowns, there was still uncertainty, there was still craziness, there were still rules. One innovated. Both were probably still busy. Both were probably stressed. Both were looking for creative, both were hoping for a solution, but one actually found a way to stay in that space. So what do you need to do to stay in that space, to stay creative? Scott, could you jump in here for a moment? I want to share this. What capabilities do you need, right? Who do you need to stay connected to? Who do you need to stay plugged into? I want to jump over here real quick. Think about this with your business plan. Think about this with your creativity. Think about this now with your innovation. What do you need to learn to be innovative? How do you see around corners? How can you see where the puck's going? And why do you want that business? And where do you want to go? And who can help you with these capabilities? This is the unfair secret to life. This is how you get from where you are to where you want to be. I'll tell you one of the biggest secrets in my life is that I have either attended or hosted, and I've spent over $1 million on being part of masterminds and workshops and trainings Because learning from other people is the fastest way to get from where you are to where it is that you want to be. I'm going to attack this last one because I think it's really important, because this is the toughest one, especially for women in business, because your hearts are so big, your compassion is so big, your desire to serve is so grand. Thank God that you are on this earth. You balance us out, but also sometimes that can hold you back from wanting to sell, wanting to market. Am I hitting a nerve? You know, if we're right together right now and I was looking just at you and I said, be honest, selling, marketing, do you have a little bit of hesitation, or are you downright scared? I've been in a room with 100% women that are in business or starting their business. 90% of the room raises their hand. And that's a tough one, because let me just ask you this. Does money solve problems? Does money solve problems? Can you have more control of your time? Could you retire your spouse, help your parents out, pay off that debt, stop stressing, stop worrying, give more to your church, build a school in Africa, provide meals to people that are hungry? Does money solve problems? Of course it does, right? Of course it does. Used right, money solves lots of problems. People who say money doesn't solve problems or doesn't make you happy, I say you haven't given enough away yet, right? Okay, if money solves problems, how do you get money? Well, there's illegal ways. I don't know any of those, right? There's also people go out and raise money. That's not my expertise either. So if you're not doing something illegal and you're not going out to raise money like they do in Silicon Valley a lot, people way smarter than me do that. What's the only other way to get money in your business? Sell. Market and sell. If you don't market and sell, you don't have a business. You have a dream. You have a fantasy. You can't just noodle with the creative and change your logo 100 times and build your website or build your brick and mortar business and stare at it. The movie with Kevin Costner of Field of Dreams. It's an older movie, but in the movie, he kept hearing the voice that said, if you build it, they will come. If you create a product, a service, you have a business, and you build it no matter how good it is, if you don't market and sell, they will not come. That's just a fact. So you need to bridge the gap there. How do you get better at marketing? How do you get better at selling? How do you say, I want you to hear this. How do you fall so in love with your product or service that you feel bad not selling people? Ooh, think about that one. What if selling isn't selling anymore? What if selling is service? What if you're actually doing a disservice if you don't sell other people? Think about that. So I'll give you an example. I was at this business conference. It was all women, about 3,000 women in the room, probably very similar to you. They were either in business, wanting to go to the next level, or they were getting out of corporate or something and time to start their business. I asked the same question. 90% of the women raised their hand. I saw a woman in the second row. I picked on her. I said, what about you? I saw you said you wanted to take your life to another level. You raised your hand on that. You want your business to go to another level. You raised your hand on that. Then I said, selling, she said, yeah, I don't like selling. So I said, what is it that you do? And I thought this answer was unbelievable. She said, I help women as a coach through trimester 4. I'm like, trimester 4? She goes, yeah, people don't talk about after you have a baby, you feel insane. You still look like you're pregnant. Your emotions and your hormones are crazy. You feel like your husband or your partner doesn't love you anymore, and that you're just a mom and all these other things, these crazy emotions, and you feel like you're gross and your husband doesn't think you're attractive. She goes, I went through hell, but then I found a way to pull myself out. I found a way to get my head straight without using chemicals and all these amazing things. And she said, now I help other women through trimester 4. I said, okay, are you good at it? She goes, good. I love this. I said, tell me about somebody. And she brings up a girl she's worked with. Oh my God, she was going through this tough time and she felt like her husband was leaving her and she didn't look sexy and all. I said, well, would you? She goes, oh my God, within 3 weeks, this woman looked amazing. She was focused. Her and her husband were connected. She gave me all these things. She was glowing. And I said, but you don't like selling. And immediately she went from this to, oh, no, I don't really love selling. And I said, so why are you screwing women over? She was like, what? I said, why are you screwing women over? She goes, I'm not screwing women over. I said, yes, you are. Because you're afraid to market. You're afraid to sell. There are women out there suffering in silence. And I watched that get her. And I said, they're never going to find you. No matter how good you are. No matter how much you care. No matter what kind of results you get. There's only 2 things that can happen if you don't market and sell your product, your coaching program, your course, your workshop. is they either do nothing and suffer, and you have the answer and you're not doing anything to help them, or they buy from someone else that doesn't care as much as you do or doesn't have the capabilities as much as you do. So you're ethically obligated to get good at selling, get good at marketing, and do it through service, and know you're screwing them over if you don't. I watched this woman shift, but the whole audience, there was 3,000 women. I said, who feels different about selling? There was tears. They were screaming like, oh my God, I've been looking at it the wrong way. I've been looking like to apologize for the sale when really I'm serving. When you look through that lens, everything changes. And that's the type of changes you need to be plugged into, right? Another thing that overwhelms us when it comes to sales and marketing, we start thinking, let's break it in these two parts, the art and the science of marketing and sales, the art and the science. Let's park the art on the side. The science is what overwhelms you. Science is nothing more than the delivery system. You know, long ago, there was only direct mail and yellow pages. And then there was infomercials, right? People ask me, why'd you do an infomercial? Like, because there was no other way to market back then besides direct mail and infomercials, right? But then there's Facebook now and YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn, and some Pinterest. There's lots of great ways to advertise. But that's a delivery system, right? You get in your head about the science of it. You start thinking, oh, should I do TikTok videos and dance? No, I'm going to do Instagram. No, I think I'm going to do long-form YouTube. No, they're kind of hard. I'll do short-term YouTube. No. I think Facebook is the key. No, there's so many women on Pinterest. I think I could find them on... No, I need professional women on LinkedIn. Oh, my God, I don't know what to do. And you do nothing. Sound familiar? That's the science. You can find a who to help you with the science. Probably like your 17-year-old child or nephew or neighbor. But a lot of that science is figure-outable. The book my friend Marie Forleo wrote. It's figure-outable. The art will change your life. The art is some of the stuff we were talking about. The art is when you live inside the mind of your future client, when you answer their questions, when you understand their needs, when you understand their fears, when you understand their desires, when you understand their goals, when you finish their sentences. That's the art, that's the messaging, that's the compassion, that's the service, that's the listening more than you're talking. It's understanding your client's needs, because in most cases your client is who you used to be. Or you have a service or a product that serves them. You must understand your ideal client and create that avatar. Who is your ideal client? Name it. Is it Nicole? And what is Nicole? How old is Nicole? What does Nicole need? What is her service? How do I serve her? How do I talk to her, right? That is the art, and you can fall in love with the art. And if you do the art right, you can get someone to help you with the science. You know, when I first met my wife and we were dating, we were foodies, still are. And I remember she's also been voted the #1 hairstylist in Arizona like 8 out of 10 years. And she was making incredible money with her business. I was so proud of her when I met her. And I remember talking to her about sales, and she's like, oh, that's your thing, Dean. I don't like sales. And I remember thinking, you're full of crap. There's no way you're making hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and you don't know how to sell. So one day I said to her, you don't sell? And she's like, no. I'm just helping these women look beautiful. So I remember I set her up one day. And I said, babe, I am dying for spaghetti and meatballs. I'm Italian. I grew up, my grandmother cooking spaghetti and meatballs, and we were first dating, maybe the first 6 months. And she said, oh my God, babe, there's a place up north where they make the pasta homemade. It's a little, firm, al dente. Oh my God, the pasta's so amazing. And then she said the sauce, they cook it all day. It's not chunky, it's really smooth and beautiful. And they put the sauce over it. And if you're gonna eat meat, the meatballs, she goes, you put a fork in them, they open up, they glisten with olive oil. As she's telling me, and you're like I was salivating. I didn't want to just go to the restaurant, I wanted to buy it. She goes, we'll get 1 glass of red wine. And I'm like, get in the car. Like, I want to drive 100 miles an hour to get there. And I'm laughing at her on the way up. She goes, what are you laughing at? I said, you're so full of it. You're so full of crap. You're the best saleswoman on the planet. You just sold me on this restaurant so hard. She's like, no, I wasn't selling. Hear this. She said, I just wanted you to experience it. Think about that. When she said that, I said, babe, that's why you're so good at your business. My wife loves making women look beautiful. She does mostly hair extensions. I didn't even know what they were before that. She says, I love when a woman walks in and she's feeling a little down, or her hair's a little thin, and she leaves there on fire, glowing, smiling. She's like, that's my dream, that's my desire. I said, of course. And when you're doing that, you're upgrading their product and you're putting more hair in and they're coming back to you. You're selling them, but you don't feel like you're selling because you're serving them, because you want them to experience what that next level feels like. When you love your business that much and you realize you're serving people and you want them to experience another level, you'll never sell another day in your life, but your business will go to a whole nother level. So Scott, let's go over here one last time. So I want you to think about that. When it comes to innovation, creativity, your business map, marketing, sales, who are you learning from? What capabilities do you need to go from where you are to where you want to be? You can anchor in the why, but you got to figure out where you want to go. What are your end results? Sell yourself on this every single day to gain the freedom, the impact, the income, the choices, to get the time that you need, right? And then who can help you with the capabilities to get there? And that's life. That truly is the definition and the example of life. We have gaps, and we need to fill the gaps. And I'm hoping today some of those gaps were filled. Some of those, I hope I got you thinking. I hope I got you inspired. I hope something I said today made you go, I'm doing this. I'm burning the boats. I'm going all in. I'm not dabbling anymore. That's my goal. That's why I'm here today. And I know that's what Anna's goal is as well. I know that's why you're a part of Total Moms, to gain those capabilities. And I'm excited for those of you who are already in or moving on with Anna and I had to write this down, the Total Mom Business Network. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. If that is the capabilities you need, if you need to stay plugged in, if you need help with your business map, with your innovation, with your creativity, with your time management, with your marketing, with your sales, be plugged into something bigger than you. Don't go at it alone. And that's why I'm excited for those of you moving on. And if you aren't, figure out how you can move on. How do you fit this into your life so you, Anna, and everyone else who's working on their next level can stay plugged in, stay connected? Because the outside world can really make you doubt yourself. The outside world can make you question yourself. Friends and family, the news, man, that can really lean into that inner self-doubt, that imposter syndrome. But when you're connected to something bigger than yourself, the sky is truly the limit. Guys, thank you so much for listening to me today. I will go back and look at all your comments, all your feedback. But remember, everything is possible, especially when you start saying no to the things that don't serve you and yes to the things that take you where you want to be. Sell yourself on that compelling future. Lean into your heart on why you want it. Find the who in your life to gain those capabilities, squeeze them out, and then do the greatest thing of them all. Take the uncomfortable action needed to take your life from where you are to where you want it to be. Guys, I appreciate you so much. Have an amazing, amazing rest of your event. I look forward to seeing those of you that take advantage of the Total Mom Business Network, and go for it. Take care, everybody.